So move on over, Star Wars Lego, because Starkiller has returned. He has come home to Nintendo. Starkiller is once again searching through the galaxy for his long-lost brother, Star-Lord. At least that feels like it could be the plot. Starkiller, Star-Lord. They feel like they could be related, right? We have every major Star Wars game on the Nintendo Switch, and I have found the perfect attachment for the Force Unleashed to make you feel like you're a Jedi, to truly make you feel like you are wielding a lightsaber, which we have all dreamed of doing. And with the Joy-Cons motion controls, it's a match made in heaven, even more so with this attachment. You've probably noticed that this isn't actually a lightsaber. It's a sword. It's meant to be the Master Sword. It is meant for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. It released alongside this game as a Joy-Con attachment to feel like a Master Sword. It's also described as a lightsaber attachment for your Joy-Cons, and this should light up as well. Or do I need batteries in? Yeah, it requires batteries. The sword glows green when you wave it. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, for the price I paid for this I'm really impressed by this. This is awesome. It feels good in the hand as well. I'm really impressed by this. Now let's go use it with some games now. Now get ready to unleash the Force with this review. Now this game looks totally different to what I remembered back in the day. Nostalgia and everything, because this is the Nintendo Wii version. But it's still great with motion controls, and that's what makes this version stand tall on its own. As you use slashing motions with your hand and just wave it around to hack and slash stormtroopers, or thrust your hand forward to perform a powerful force push, it is just something beautiful. And just bringing everything in the environment to your presence, just with moving your right hand, using force powers and crushing the enemies as you're holding them in the air, or force choking them by holding down the trigger and physically twisting your left hand to choke out the enemy is just, yeah. It's perfect. Now there is quick timed events at the end of every boss fight that used to drive me insane, and I have always found them really irritating, as I would always miss the timed buttons or press the wrong one and have to start all over. Using motion controls though, it's done differently, and it's so much better. Using motion in a different direction instead of a button press, so much easier. Or when you are in a boss showdown of force powers, it will require you to rotate the Joy-Con correctly, then flick it to win the little minigame segment of the fight. Now, if you aren't feeling the force, then this can all be disabled. That's no problem. You can play the game with motion controls turned off. But I highly recommend, if you want to unleash your inner Jedi, if you want to use the Joy-Cons like a lightsaber, if you have a dream of wielding a lightsaber, then use it with motion controls enabled. Now in the game you play as Starkiller, voiced by Sam Witwer, and you are essentially Darth Vader's dirty little secret, Vader's apprentice, tasked with serving Darth Vader and hunting down and killing the remaining Jedi that went into hiding, surviving Order 66, as you venture to several planets in the galaxy, going up against both Jedi and Sith. Now, story-wise, I absolutely loved the story to the Force Unleashed games. I would rate it top tier alongside Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast. Now, gameplay throughout will have you basically going from hallway to hallway, fighting waves of enemies in each of the areas before continuing on, where the progression is locked off until you defeat the waves of enemies, and there may be a mini-boss there before going up against a big boss at the end of the level. Now, as you progress fighting enemies, you will be mixing up attacks and pulling off force combos in this fast-paced action title. From slashing down enemies, throwing them around using force powers, throwing projectiles, force choking them out, controlling turrets to mow down enemies for you, impaling them with your lightsaber, bringing everything down around you as you completely destroy the environment using your force powers, going all Sith Lord, following in Palpatine's footsteps and frying your enemies to a crisp, then unleashing the ultimate devastating force charge to a room full of enemies, taking them all down in one swift force attack. Wondering, did I just do that? As you progress, new force powers will be unlocked further into the game, as Starkiller gradually becomes a much more powerful Jedi as you progress further on. Other unlockables in the game include different Starkiller costumes and other iconic Star Wars character skins you can swap out Starkiller for. Like, if you want to, you can do a level as Mace Windu, you can do a level as Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, Darth Maul, Han Solo wielding a lightsaber if you truly want to. There's an upgrade system there where you can spend currency you have obtained. You can also find lightsaber crystals on your travels through levels that you can change when you are back on board your ship, swapping out lightsaber color crystals, combat crystals to enhance your lightsaber abilities, and saber hilts to really customize your lightsaber to make it your own. Health and force powers are displayed in the corner at the top of the screen, with health canisters to pick up around levels to replenish your health, or when certain enemies are defeated, they will drop small canisters and force power levels will recharge automatically. Now, multiplayer mode is in attendance here as well, and it's as glorious as ever. What can I say about multiplayer? Sadly, it isn't online, it's only local multiplayer, but that is where it shines. That is where I have so much sweet memories playing Star Wars multiplayer back in the day on my original Xbox. With Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, me and my buddy would spend countless hours dueling it out in multiplayer, just hacking and slashing at each other with lightsabers and throwing things at each other with force powers. It was so much fun, and it's essentially the same in this game as it was back in the day, with iconic Star Wars characters to choose from and fight with as you duel it out in multiplayer. At times the camera angles can be an issue when you're being thrown around the map or launched across the room by an enemy, and the camera will just be like trapped, locked behind you for a second there as it tries to adjust itself in the center of the screen. All in all, this game runs really well at 60 frames per second, and I haven't encountered any drops in my playthrough at all. While it's not as pretty, it looks muddy, it looks outdated, the animations they don't hold up well compared to the counterpart 360 version and PS3 version of the same game. So please, if you're going to play The Force Unleashed on Switch, play it the right way. The link below, please check this out, because this really does heighten your experience with the game. It's awesome. I love it. I really do. I'm really impressed by this little thing. This is so cool. Anyways, guys, I'll see you next time.